Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. I'm delighted to be joined by Callum Simpson for the first time here at Dicky's gym. Not going to lie, it sent me up the wall path trying to find it because it sent me to the top of this hill. But we're here. How's things, buddy?
Everything's well, mate. Everything's good. You know, training hard for my fight in just under 3 weeks' time. So, yeah, we're flying in gym, flying in sparring, everything, mate. Yeah, so looking forward to it.
Before we get on to what's next for you, and we've seen you, obviously, your career to date, signed by Boxer, you're on a big trajectory at the minute. Just give the people a bit of an idea about this gym, what this gym's done for you. You've been here a while now, you've been in and around big fights. We mentioned Josh Warrington was here for a number of years, 8 years. What's this gym done for you? How's it brought you on? It's
brought me on massively. You know, I started off amateur at Barnsley Star, obviously from Barnsley where I'm from. I was there for about 10 years, and then I've been here for about six years now. So Josh doesn't train anymore, but obviously I used to train around him for like the last 3 years here. So I trained around him, you know, joining his circuits, and I got to see how hard it was to become a world champion. You know, I got to see how, you know, just joining in his circuits, and I used to think, how on earth am I going to get to do this? And now I'm doing the same circuits that, obviously back then you were doing 10, 12 rounds. I was only doing 6 rounds then. But now I'm doing we call it the championship circuit, and the same rounds he used to do. That's what I'm doing now. So yeah, I got a very good insight to see what it takes to be a champion. So I've seen firsthand how hard he used to train, so I know how hard I need to train.
How sort of beneficial is that for you? Because you know when you start your career, it's very difficult, and you don't normally get, you know, necessarily any mentors or people that show you how it's done, but obviously he's been a good example. Has that sort of give you that bit of a confidence boost because you've had that bit of insight? You've seen how maybe he's trained or how he's prepared because he's obviously been in big fights. Has that helped you in terms of how you've prepared, especially for the early parts of your career?
Yeah, it's helped me massively, you know. Like I said, I know Josh Warrington is known for his engine as well, you know, so I know that if I'm doing the same stuff as him, especially a few weights above him, then I know that I'm going to be as fit as he is, and that I know that I'm doing the right things that it takes to be like a champion. Like I said, he's a world champion. You know, he started off English and he's gone through the traditional ways, won pretty much every title all the way up to world title, and then even going out to spar Beterbiev, you know, seeing them doing similar things that we do in the gym. Again, that's just a massive confidence boost. It knows that I'm doing everything right to get to where I want to get to.
You've bounced into this sort of bigger stage with Boxer with quite a reputation. You had 9 continuous knockouts, and then Boris Crichton comes along, a tough operator. I saw him go with Lyndon Arthur and give him a good night's work. In terms of what it did for you, though, it did get you the rounds in, and it did maybe show people, look, even though I suppose you're still early on, you can go the championship rounds. What did you make of your last performance? I know you'll have been eager maybe to impress because it's on Sky, but I think you took away quite a bit from that.
Yeah, definitely. I took a lot from that. You know, at first, when I got out of the ring, I thought, obviously I want to stop. I want to knock everyone out. Of course I want to. You know, I want a good 9 knockout streak, and I wanted to continue that. But yeah, so I think at first I was a little bit frustrated. And looking back, you know, I rushed my work quite a bit. I was a bit eager, and you know, I didn't really box like I should have or set my shots up. But yeah, obviously in hindsight now, looking back, you know, it was a great fight for me. You know, plenty of boxers takes one, obviously. That showed I can do the championship rounds. I did 10 rounds at a high pace, and I felt good for it. I got cut in the second round from a clash of heads. I handled that well. I took some right hands off him. I handled those well. So yeah, plenty of boxers ticked, and puts me in good stead, ready for my next few fights coming up, the bigger fights coming up.
We've spoke before about you sparring the likes of Beterbiev Evan, that he's had you back in camp since after the first trip. And I suppose what that does teach you is that not every fight you'll be able to go in there and get somebody out. Is that always on the back of your mind, though? You know, when boxers go into the ring, everyone always says it doesn't matter how you win, it's as long as you win. But ultimately, a lot of people are saying, look, you got to put bums on seats as well. Is it sometimes a bit of a conflict? I think so. That's something that me and my coach have discussed. You know, not putting expectations. It's not so much pressure because I thrive under pressure. You know, I like having pressure. You know, pressure's a privilege, and you know, I'm lucky that I even have that pressure on my shoulders. But I think it's more of the expectations of myself that we've discussed about some like mental aspects and stuff. But I think luckily for me, I think my style, it's a very exciting style. You know, I'm a high pressure fighter. I throw a lot of shots. So yes, I think whether I'm knocking people out or not, I feel like my style's going to put bums on seats, like you said, and I think it's an exciting style. Absolutely, 100%. I think anyone who saw your performances, your last couple, will know that that you're not going to be in any boring fights.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. Germaine Browne, let's just talk about your next opponent. He's someone who will potentially bring the best out in you as well. He won't be coming to lie down, he'll be coming there to win, and he won't be coming there to survive. What do you make of him as a fighter? He's been in there some good fighters already. What do you make of him?
I think he's a solid fighter. He's a tough fighter, good operator. He's former English champion, boxed at a higher level. The only 2 losses are against good kids again, and he's coming off a good win a few weeks ago. I think he knocked a lad out in the 4th round. And he's a tough guy. Again, I don't think he's ever been stopped, ever been put down, anything like that. And he's got a similar style to me. We both don't really take a back step, but yeah, like you said, obviously I've learned a lot from my last fight, and I think you'll see a different Callum Simpson on the 5th of September. You'll see obviously still the exciting, high pressure, but a little bit more boxing, and I think I'll show that, but a lot more to my game, yeah.
Well, it feel like the pressure's off a little bit because of the last fight. You're eager to impress, you're wanting to do that, but this fight that you can be a bit more measured, and there isn't that pressure on having to continue a knockout streak, and that you can maybe methodically plot out a way to get the knockout. Yeah,
like I said, for me, mate, I don't really feel like pressure in a bad way, or like any kind of anxiousness or pressure. So it's just the same, really, mate. It's just obviously outside the ring, everyone says, "Oh, there's pressure on him," but like I said, whatever external pressure there is, I don't really put no pressure on myself. I just go out there and I just enjoy it, So, but yeah, I suppose you could say there's less pressure on. Now that my last fight went points and it were still an exciting fight, you could say there's less pressure, but. Obviously I still want to knock him out. I want to knock everyone out. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, now that I've shown that you don't have to knock everyone out, it can still be an exciting fight. So I suppose there is less pressure.
Do you expect a knockout in this fight though?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to put not pressure on myself, but expectations. I want to just go out there and just do what I do and be in an exciting fight. And I believe that I'll win, whether it's a knockout, points. I feel like I'm going to win either way.
You've been around, I think, the scene for ages. I think before you signed for boxing, you were called like the best kept secret, and now you are no longer a secret. People are aware of what you're doing. You've had that seasoning from the small hall shows all the way up to fighting now on Sky Sports. Back in the day, I believe you sparring the likes of Tommy Fury and things like that. What do you reckon? When you see your career, you're doing it in the program, and he's shifted over a little bit now, hasn't he, to the YouTube side of it, making his money. What do you make of it, and what were them sparring sessions like with Tommy back in the day? Because people, I think, just assume he'd turned up, but he's been sparring a long time, hasn't he? He's been boxing a long time, sorry.
Yeah, he's been boxing a while. I sparred him when he was at Ricky Hatton's gym, before he went in Love Island. And, he's a decent kid. He's actually not a bad boxer. Obviously, I feel like the level is at, cruiserweight is not really at a high level, but he's an all right boxer. He's a decent boxer. I only sparred him that once. And but yeah, listen, he's making good money, so I feel like he'll be making more money than most the world champions, to be fair. Well, he probably already has, so why not? Can't blame him for it.
How important to you is this traditional route of, we talked about Josh earlier, obviously English, you move your way up. How important is a British title to you? Because we always talk about benchmarks in people's careers, and the British title seems to be that one that says, look, he's at that point now, you're now teetering on jumping into that world level mix. Is the British title something that you've got your head and sort of heart content on?
Definitely, 100%. Obviously Mark Heffron had the British title before, and kind of conflicting interest because we both got the same manager, but now Jack Cullen's got that title, so it's an open season really. I've got to deal with Germaine Browne first, and that's something that I've got my eyes set on, and I feel like that'd be next after this.
Have you spoken to Boxer and said, look, this is the position I'm in, you've signed me, I'm producing, I'm winning, I believe I can win that British title. You believe you're ready for your Jack Cullens right now?
Yeah, I literally said to Ben Shalom before I was ringside for that fight, and I said, can I get in the ring with the winner? Even though it could have been Mark Heffron, I said to him, can I get in the ring with the winner? And then after the fight, I said to Ben, let's make this fight. Can this be my next fight after Germaine Browne? And I got a yeah from him. So, I don't know whatever has to go on behind closed doors or whatever the negotiating and stuff, but that's the fact. I told Boxer from day one when I signed with them that I want proper fights, I want meaningful fights. And I think Jack Cullen's ranked like 24th in the world. So, I beat Jack Cullen, British champion, and then sky's the limit, really. That's that just sign. Obviously, again, Jack Cullen's another solid operator, fought at a very high level and much more experienced than me, but I believe that if we fight him, I believe that I beat him.
Do you allow your head to wander? When you think about what could be, we've talked about certain things you've done already, but we've just now talking about a British champion. Jack Cullen's had his defeats over the years, but he's come back. He sells a lot of tickets as well. You think your fans, his fans, you will do a lot of tickets as well in that fight. Do you look beyond that and go, I'll be world champion definitely one day, or do you just go, look, one step at a time? Do you manage to like have a blockage here, like until you hit a goal and then it's like, now we're moving on to this, or how does your mind work? Before I turned pro, you know, you've got them visions of being world champion, but obviously I know it's a long journey to get there. So it's not a case of, oh, I'm just going to walk for all these kids, I'm going to just be a world champion. Like, I know that's a very, very hard journey to the top, but you know, I believe I'm going to get there eventually. But yeah, like I say, it's just little levels, stepping up levels, these little stepping stones. And you know, Germaine Browne's next, then hopefully Jack Cullen, and then whoever's after that. It's just going to keep the little stepping stones one at a time. Who do you think currently is the best in your division right now? In the UK? World, probably have to be Canelo, wouldn't it? Yeah, you still rate him as the best there? Yeah, of course, yeah, definitely. Is he the guy who you look at and think, I hope you're around in a couple of years, we can do a bit? Or do you think by the time, obviously, he's got 3 fights on this PBC deal? I'm not trying to shoot you there before, by the way, but you know, he's got these 3 fights, then, you know, he's his own boss, he'll kind of do what he wants kind of thing, but if you can move up, you know, get a belt, you'd love that, wouldn't you? Yeah, well, of course I would, 100%. You know, hopefully he's not retired by the time I get up there. You know, I'm not there yet where I need to be, but you know, like I said, obviously, Germaine Browne, Jack Cullen, you know, that'll give me a goodwill ranking, and then, you know, you don't know how many fights I am away from that. You know, you never know what opportunities you can get. He's always talked about a fight in the UK as well at some point. We saw John Ryder go over there and give a good account of himself in the ultimate lion's den in his backyard, and he was fantastic. So you never know if he wants to come over to the UK. A couple of years' time, you never know. Let's talk about Yorkshire. We see a lot of people sort of flying the flag over the years. We've had, obviously, Kell, Brooks, more your obvious one from Sheffield area. We've had Josh from Leeds. They've done it proud. Do you see yourself as the next one, without putting too much pressure on yourself? Or expectation? Do you see, you know what? Obviously, Josh has come into that part of his career now where, you know, a couple of fights left, maybe 2, 3, depending on how things go. Kell's sort of flirting with the idea of popping back for one more. Keeps talking about seeing Conor Benn's name come up. Are you that next one? Yeah, I believe so, yeah. You know, like the Ingles gym had a massive run. You know, I feel like Kell's probably the last from there, really. You know, Josh Warrington again, flying the flag for Yorkshire in Leeds. And then we've had Maxi Hughes, you know, Terry Harper, the McDonald brothers as well, down in Doncaster, South Yorkshire. And then from Barnsley, we've never really had anyone to really fly the flag for boxing in Barnsley. So I believe that I'm the next. Yeah, definitely, of course. You know, I'm still young, I'm still fresh. We have the next one coming through, 100%. And I you know, anyone can tell I'm a proud Yorkshireman, you know. So just like we all are, really. Yeah. So yeah, that I definitely see myself the next one flying the flag for Yorkshire. Yeah. Be good to get a fight up here one day as well. Would you like one in your neck of the woods, back in your hometown? Definitely, and it's going to happen in Oakwell, 100%. Everyone seems to be on that at the minute. You know, when you're from like, obviously you've got Dalton Smith as well, who's Dalton's absolutely flying at the minute. There's this next wave that I feel that you're sort of teetering on, about to become a part of. Dalton obviously flying the flag for Sheffield. The football stadium seemed to be the thing that everyone wants to do. That's it for you, isn't it, at Oakwell at Barnsley? Yeah, 100%, mate. Definitely. You know, I've been talking to Boxer about it, been talking to the guys at Barnsley FC about it, and you know, they've been having the conversations being had already, and you know, there's a few things kind of going on behind the scenes. But like you said, I can't really get too ahead of myself. I've got to keep myself grounded, and like I said, just focus on one fight at a time and not get too carried away myself. But yeah, that's definitely something that I see happening in the future. Yeah. How do you sort of take the pressure off, because it's a lot to deal with? You know, you're coming up, I suppose now that all the eyes of the boxing world are on you. When you maybe get past one fight, what do you do to sort of release? Do you take your mind away for boxing, or are you back in the gym Monday, or do you have like a week off to enjoy some food or go on holiday? What do you do to sort of chill out in between? Normally I'm back in the gym on the Monday. You know, I fight on the Saturday, I'm either running on the Sunday or I'm back in gym on Monday. It was only my last fight that I didn't do that, but I was back in the gym on Monday, but just not training. I feel like I'd be run over on Sunday morning after them 10 rounds of Boris. I woke up on Sunday morning and I could hardly move. But yeah,
Not really, mate. You know, boxing's my life, really. I don't really watch much out. Obviously, I try and support smaller shows and support my mates that are boxing, but I don't watch too much on TV. But yeah, I just eat and relax, really. I don't really go out drinking. I don't do too much. Try and go on holiday if I can. But obviously, at the minute, for me now, I'm at a point in my career where staying in the gym, staying fit, keeping on weight is more important than going on holidays. Like I've said before, like I'd rather look back in 10 years and know that I've given my all to the sport, and I've not just, you know, instead of having a fight, going on holiday for a week, 2 weeks, and then having to start again, you know, overweight and stuff. Like I said, I'd want to look back and have no regrets and know that I've given it all to the sport. Yeah.
Did you have that that sort of inspiration growing up? You know, when you see fighters on TV. I spoke to I can't remember what it was the other day, but they were talking about like Friday Fight Night Live on Sky Sports and all these different programs. Did you have that one guy who you sort of looked at and said, you know what, that's the guy, like, he's doing it right?
I didn't. No, not growing up really. No, like I said, I didn't really watch much boxing growing up. I only started watching it when I worked when I got a part-time job in retail, and they used to sponsor Kell Brook. So when I was like 16, he used to come in and get loads of free clothes and stuff, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's Kell, it's Kell." I'm like, "Who's Kell?" Even at 16, I'd been boxing 7 years, and I didn't even know who Kell Brook was. Then everyone was like, "Oh, it's Kell Brook, that's Kell Brook." That, you just kind of see how everyone reacted when he walked in, and we used to get like free tickets to the shows and stuff. So when I used to go to Sheffield Arena and, you know, and used to watch him fight, I think I've seen AJ fight there, Kid Galahad, a few of the big names, and yeah, so Kell Brook was kind of the first person that I knew, that I knew more personally, that I could kind of look up to. And I used to say all the time, even like my mates ran with a week, say, you know, you used to work with, they said, "Oh, can you remember when we used to watch Kell Brook?" And used to say, "Oh, that'll be you in a few years," or I used to say, that'll be me in a few years. And everyone kind of just laughed it off. And then when I walked out to Manchester Arena, I just looked round and I was like, yeah, this is it. And then obviously Kell Brook was sat ringside for my first show at Manchester. So yeah, it's pretty surreal.
Have you managed to have a chat with Kell, like a proper chat? Has he took you to one side and just, is he giving you any advice? Have you spoke to him about it?
Yeah, I've had a good one-on-one chat with Kell a few times, to be honest. He gave me some good advice. And Josh Warrington as well. You know, actually, after I just signed with Boxer, I went and met Josh for a coffee. Had a good sit-down chat. Give me a lot of advice about like training, sponsors, you know, the business side of it, and just a good one-on-one chat. Because, end of the day, there's not many people that I know personally that have being in my position. Like, he's been where I am now and has got to the top. So for me to be able to sit down and just, like I said, used to see him in the gym all the time, but for me to actually sit down with him and get that advice from me, you know, it really meant a lot to me.
I was going to say as well, and it's all right if you see the people who've done it, but not everyone, I suppose, will extend that sort of olive branch and say, "Look, come, let's have a chat." So that's always good. Yeah. Look, Callum, I appreciate your time. Thanks for talking to Boxing Social. We'll be there on fight night. It's going to be a cracking fight. And yeah, we appreciate you letting us obviously use this gym for the interview. It's been good. We'll catch up again.
Thank you very much. Cheers.